Commas. How you doing? These are all the things that I said I would do for the next iteration of the Last Year Carbon, which is my board game. Made it with some friends, working on it as a solo project now. Turned it into a website where you can play for free against bots or friends or enemies. lastyearofcarbon.com. Summit cards are borked. Fixed most of them. I have two different types of cards. There's your regular seasonal cards, and then there are summit cards, which are more powerful. You get one at the start of the game, one if you contribute the most to a summit. Fixed most of them, so I'm going to check that off and say good. Some blacklisted cards breaking. One of my friend Eric's contracts was actually doing this issue here, which was instead of donating as the character representation of a color, I was using the full name of the color, so I should be donating 4 Ys if I'm donating 4 energy. It was 4 yellows instead, so it was breaking the world energy pool. Done and done. So now, reload state button. This actually ties in with an edit that I made where instead of storing the data as a JSON blob in a Postgres database and writing the blob every single time that an action is done, what happens now is the game is stored in RAM. So while you're playing, if you're starting a new game, the game gets added to RAM as a JSON object. If any edits are made while it's still in RAM, the edits will happen to the object. And then at an interval, we either save the game data if there have been changes, and if there haven't been, we make a comparison between what's in the database, what's in RAM. If they are the same, no changes have been made, so we clear the RAM and say the next time these players come back, we'll bring the data out of the database, back into RAM, load and save, done. And one of the major edits that I've done for this recent iteration was the partial updates to the JSON object of the game. So the game is stored, like I said, as an object in memory or in the database, depending on whether it's loaded or not. But we do incremental changes. In order to keep track of changes as they happen in the game, I have broken out, instead of just saving the updated game state on the client side, we have the initial state and then all of the changes. This is how chess is saved on a website. You have the initial state of the game board and then the series of changes, and then you can walk forward and backward in time based off of that array of changes, which have given us the ability to go back in time, go forward in time by applying changes and patching them to our game state, and along with a resume button so that whenever any changes are pushed from the WebSocket, they automatically bring you up to date. We iterate through those changes in order to have the ticker describe what has happened so far amongst the changes and make a little pop noise every single time one of those happened. And that also gives us the really cool ability of an admin state modifier, which is an additional modal, where you can pop up the JSON object and then you can edit it manually if you have an admin account, which you don't. I do, you don't. I'm the maker, you're the guy, so you're a little player, the little playing gremlin. I have the power. I have all the power to change the state via an admin button. You don't. But bam. That gives me the ability to essentially update the game and then push those changes as a single state change that's called like admin updated state. The way that the state changes work is we have the initial state, and then we have an array of changes which has a text description of the change that actually happened, and then only what updated in the object. So let's say the player played a card, the hand will remove that card will be removed from the hand, be added to the discard pile, and then whatever effects, like let's say it's recharge a battery, one battery energy will be added to the battery energy array. I know this is all gibberish. You'll pick it up as we go along. But like I said, we have a reload state button. When you hit nav home, we clear the state out of your memory, and then when you resume the game, the state is re-added to your memory. Bam, bam, done. Off focus modal close. This was a recommendation from my friend Eric. Instead of having to click the X button, if it's a modal that you can close out, which not all of them you can, but like your hand modal, the player card table modal, If you click off of the modal itself, it will close the modal. Ba-bam. Animate to and from states. Yeah, that's vague, but basically I have things fade in and out when you play stuff. We'll consider that done. Turn order from PR was borked, so that has been fixed. So every season, whoever's the most popular person gets to decide who goes first. That has been fixed. There was a whole thing where I was struggling with this for a while. We don't rely on the array order of our players because our players are a series of objects that are stored in array positions. Like the 0th index points to player 0 of the array, but that player needs to have its own ID. So we need to like get player by ID. So we iterate through the array and we pull the player that has the object property of player ID of 0, and that could be in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th position because we reshuffle turn order every single season based on who's the most popular person. Pop sound on action, that is done. Little card ghost float animations. I do a fade in and out for cards. I think let's just consider that done. Join lobby order is borked. It's still kind of borked, but I'm just going to give that a check mark so I can clear it off. Winter, Sonic Breaks, and Summon cards. That's been mostly fixed. Cards pop up bottom screen modal. I just said that when you click on cards, it pops up the modal. I'm going, like I said, very quickly. This is for my sake. I'll have these all listed in the description. And then summon equipment cards are broken in ticker. I don't think I actually fixed that. And then each player number of cards display. Great. Cool. So this has been everything that I thought was necessary in order to call this thing an open beta. I just hit myself with the marker there. So this game is now available to play. You should go play it with your friends. You can hit up our Discord and see what they are. I know this doesn't make any sense to you. This is for me. And let me know if you need me to delve into any of these subjects with more depth, because like I said, I'm saying this in my language, and if I can get this to how you can understand it, that would be ideal for both of us. Because it would help me learn how to explain stuff, help me learn how to better use computer science terminology, and it would help you become a better coder, which, if you're here, you might want to do that. Or if you're just like a person who doesn't code, it's good stuff to know. There's universal laws that sort of translate from this field outward to other aspects of my life, which is very cool. Great, and now I can, thankfully, finally, for the love of goodly godly, reclaim my whiteboard so I can use it for other stuff. Alright, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. Alright. And this is not a scientific way to do this. Oh, it's I can feel them. They feel like little the marker is dried to the point where it's a little bit raised. It's nasty. Save and load. I replaced, like I said, the cards popping up as just an animation of fade in, fade out. I'm quite disorganized. I need to redo my whole filing cabinet right now. Because post moving into this house, I still feel like we moved in April. It's October. I'm still unpacking. Oh, beautiful. And I did do a playthrough. But to come are a tutorial of how to play, and then a full-length playthrough of the game with my friends. We're just all over 30 now, so it's harder to coordinate them. Cool. Thanks so much for stopping by. I know this didn't make any sense. It made sense to me. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah, love you.